What is up, everybody? Welcome to the After the Ride podcast. This is actually last week's episode, and if you want the newest episode, make sure to join my Patreon. To join, go to patreon.com/DanDanTheFireman. If not, enjoy this one, and all you have to do is wait for next week.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's funny because with the motovlog channel, I cussed a lot when I first started because I was trying to find my style, and a lot of the motovloggers I saw, that's what they did. They just kind of spoke their mind. It was just so jumpy. It ended up being like 4-hour long video, and it's so cringy, but at the same time I leave it can kind of check the progress I made. And now I feel comfortable on videos, but with the new channel that I started for the business, it's so difficult. I'm not swearing, but I find myself at 100 miles a minute for a thought. I'm just like, and then it's just, dude, I find myself doing so many, what do you call it? The cuts when I'm editing it.
Yeah.
I'll say thought 5 times because I mess something up. And I just like when I'm editing it, like why? But I'm trying to get back to that fluidity and just kind of calmness when I'm making a video. And just because, I mean, I speak a lot every single day, and there's relatively cohesive and coherent thoughts. But when it comes time to do these videos, it's like, I think I'm trying to sound too smart. I'm trying to sound too technical. I see these tech reviews and like these business pages, and they're so well thought out, but I think that just comes over time, and that's what I'm trying to get quick, but I just gotta let it flow.
Yeah, your first motovlogs, I mean, were they quick, or were they like what you're trying to do with the tech views where it's just like crap, and then
it was pretty much just word vomit, because again, I can't remember who I first started watching, but it was a lot of the supermoto guys. And they would be talking about the most random things like, oh, I'm hungry, let me go eat. And then it's just like, oh, dude, that dude's an idiot driving. And then it's like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. It's just jumping so many spots, and I hate it. But
yeah. So you like to you just word vomit. Then you're like me. So that's why I created a podcast, so I could just word vomit. I mean, because that's what people come here for, I guess. It's just the brain.
Yeah. Gotta think at it. He's like me.
So you have that second channel, though. I saw that. I saw your update video, and you have the update video, and then I went to your actual other channel, and then I saw that you started it. So you want to do tech reviews and stuff too on the side, or do you want to do that?
It kind of like that. It just pretty much that's how the motovlog started. Was similar, where I was doing stuff to my bike. I want to learn about it. I want to do some product reviews. But all the ones I came across was the seasoned rider who used to ride dirt bikes since he was 3. He knows everything about motorcycles. And then it's like, hey, let's install this motor. You already know steps 1 through 900. Let's just start at 901. Be like, dude, I don't even know how to change my oil.
Yeah.
And so then I started that, and I was just real open about it. And it was a lot better received than I had anticipated. I was expecting some kind of like, because locally there's so many guys that would be like, oh, I won't ride with you unless you have, let's say, 5,000 miles underneath your belt. Well, how am I supposed to get those 5,000 miles if, one, I'm not comfortable riding and I don't know any of these roads? And so I kind of took it upon myself. I rode my neighborhood for the first 1,000 miles. The first time I rode highway, my heart was just like, but my buddy, he took me, we went one exit, we got on, one exit, got off. He goes, how do you feel? I go, dude, that was amazing. And then little by little, it just kind of escalated, and I got more comfortable. And that's the same thing with the tech reviews, where it's photography and videography. And I want to kind of showcase me learning certain skills. Like Photoshop, I hardly ever use. It's just like your basic dumb memes for Instagram. But there's a lot of color grading. Like videography is so amazing because it's just, you can get so technical. You can just do your regular edit, boom, boom, add the hyperlapse here, time lapse there. But then it's how you incorporate B-roll into it. If you want to tell a story, instead of just doing one angle, you do multiple different angles. You include some slow-mo, you can include some panning, you add some color grade if you want it to make it feel a certain way. And it's like you can add warps and transitions that just completely translates from one thing to another. And it's just so amazing. And also the money's really good once you become, I guess, like say a wedding photographer, there's that, but then it's also videography for that. You can sell them as packages. And I don't want to do wedding photography. That's just too much, like too hardcore. I mean, there's great photographers out there to do that, but it's more so trying to stick with motorcycles in the industry where we've seen success with it with just our iPhone for the longest time, and we're having fun with it. And it's like, hey, let's see if we can turn this into a business and also do locally and then make that our full-time career. I think that would be really cool. It's just, we just started. So I gave myself a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan. And then if I ain't doing it for 5 years,
awesome,
man. My old butt.
Yeah, That's awesome. So I mean, you're in the motorcycling just because you just like to ride, and then you're real passionate though what it sounds like. So I see the smile in your eyes, man. It's the photography and videography and all the technical details about that. So I see your videos and you do use B-roll and you got fast forward and you're going, hyperlapse, and I'm watching your iron butt challenge. Sorry about your GoPro, man. It fell off.
Oh,
It's Phoenix. You're going to lose a lot of stuff in Phoenix. But I see how you're using I was entertained the whole time. It was an 8.5 minute video and it jumped, but it had music with it. Like you're getting all the different senses. Is that what you really like to focus on? Is that what you like?
Yeah, it's just because I like telling that's pretty much again how I graduated with a BFA in darkroom photography initially, and they kind of had some digital photography, and I always did videos. Growing up, I did videos for the longest time. When MySpace was alive, I did a lot of stupid videos for MySpace. People enjoyed them. And then I took a hiatus from that, and with motorcycles, it really sparked it again because I started doing Instagram videos when it was 15 seconds, and I would shoot all day, and I would have to figure out what spoke to me the most from that ride, how I could translate those emotions that I felt. I was new to riding. I fell in love with it. I was just like, everyone needs to see how awesome it is. And then they kind of started adding more time, and then you can be more creative with it because you have a little bit more time. But yeah, if I could do it every day for a living, again, it's also really demanding in a sense because the turnaround time, especially nowadays, it's also helpful if you do a short turnaround time. Like let's say you go out and do photography for this venue. Boom. Hey, I can do this much money for this many shots. And most people usually do 24, 36 hour turnaround time. And you can say, hey, I'll do 12 to 24. But then you actually give it to them in 5. Then it's like, whoa, this dude's like same day. Yeah. And with videography, it's similar. Like you want to do a quick turnaround time, but you're tired of shooting all day. It's just draining, mentally exhausting. And all of a sudden you have to sit there and just edit, and then just
that's annoying. I'm in here in my room. I know what you mean by that, dude.
Yeah. So I love it. So, but
go ahead. Oh, so the video and stuff. So are you more so picture or video? Like what's your out of those two that you like
photography
the most?
a lot. That's what I've always been in love with. But videography is just really amazing. I'm looking at my camera, so it's like every time I talk about something.
You're looking at it, man. I know.
And it's just amazing just because, again, I did this gender reveal for a buddy, and it was just amazing how you can capture that emotion. And then when you can translate that and you have them say, like, this is so amazing. I didn't expect this. This is completely more than what we expected. And it captured exactly what we were feeling. And being able to do that, I think it's really special. It's extremely rewarding. And then as well as when we went on a family vacation in Colorado, took photos of my brother, my parents, and it was just being able to capture that magic. It's almost like it's just y'all. Even though you're in a crowd of people and there's a big old area around you, it's almost extremely intimate because they chose you to do it. And I just really like that. And then being able to transfer that style to gender reveals, birthday parties. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for long term with this business is I do moto vlogs. That'd be cool. Transfer that style where it's like, oh, it's just a gender reveal party, nothing big. But then you give it that cinematic effect, like, whoa, Jimmy, that's when you found out you were a boy or whatever.
That's awesome, man. So you really want to create memories for somebody. Like that's what that's your thing. It's immortalized. With your moto vlogs and stuff, do you think that's like a good use of your talent? Honestly, like moto vlogging is just putting a camera. I mean, I'm thinking when you're talking, you want to share like an event in your experience. Do you think maybe drones or not necessarily all on the motorcycle? What's your thought process? I'm really interested in that.
It pretty much just because I listen to music. I'm pretty much like an audiophile, and it's just everything. It depends on when I'm riding. I like synthwave a lot for when I'm actually riding in twisties. Just like you feel that 80s nostalgia, and you're just that heavy bass, and just it gets amped. Even if it's just a slow road, I mean, I'll just even move in my seat and just I love it. I get so amped, but it just really depends because there's certain roads I'll ride. If I've never been on taking it slow and then cool, this road's pretty fun. I'll ride it, maybe ride it back twice, and then I'll get ideas right off the bat. Like this would be cool for this type of shot. And I do watch a lot of movies. Thankfully, I was blessed when we were growing up that every Sunday was family movie day, and we'd go to church, have lunch, kick it at the house for a little bit, and then we would go to the movies every single Sunday from pretty much I think when I was 6 years old all the well into I think after high school I would go visit, and sure enough every Sunday we do that.
Awesome, dude.
So I have a lot of styles in my eyes. Yeah, and it's just I'm super thankful for that because I think it helped stir my artisticness. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
And
I'll take
artistic
it.
eye. There you go.
I like the first one. That's something I would say. See, now you sound all professional.
That's when you know you're not like artistic. Your head turns up like the puppies.
Yeah.
And no, so that's kind of how it starts. I'll write it and the music will pair with it one day and it'll just start going. I have tons of ideas for videos and my mind's already racing.
No, dude, I'm exactly like you, dude. Trust me.
Yeah. I get so excited.
Dude, so do I. I have to make sure, like, I stopped drinking my energy drink like 30 minutes ago because I know I'll get hyper. So I'm exactly like you. So motovlogging, podcasts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's been very helpful. Dude, the main thing I like to find out from people and what I put in my own videos is my own past experiences. So, dude, you explained everything. It's like now I know why your videos are your videos because you video, photography, audio, all that stuff. You're thinking like cinematically, like you're a director behind, your own bike. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think it's also a refreshing aspect that you do on your end is because I'm in a lot of local groups here on Facebook for local Central Austin. And I mean, there's your sport bike riders. And again, with sport bikes, they like to go fast. There's beautiful Texas Hill Country roads here. And I'll ride them to where I feel comfortable, where it's like, oh, here's my limit. This is kind of sketch, but I know it's a 2-lane road. I know. And it's like, there's a blind corner coming up. And I respect myself enough and my limits to where this is sketch even when I'm going slow, because people go out wide all the time. People are pulling boat trailers in the lakes. And I'll be riding with people who will go fast. That's on them. They know their limits. But I see them cross the line like, oh, dude, no. And it's refreshing because you talk about it when other people aren't really so open, because people may say, hey, maybe don't do this in a group. And then they just get completely annihilated. Like, oh, dude, just ride your ride. You ride slow. And it's like, no, think about it. And a lot of them, they do track days also. And they'll get in an accident. Unfortunately, it takes them to get into an accident. Well, I'm only going to stick to track now. It's like, dude, no. But and I do find it refreshing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between let's take it slow, let's go easy, but that's all relative to some people.
Yeah.
I mean, my slow and easy is different than a lot of people's slow and easy. And then on top of that, I know what slow and easy really means by picking a better line for exactly the boat trailers coming. Some people don't know that, so I try my best to share that, and that's where my past experience came from, is like firefighting, and I want to keep people safe, and that's what I'm bringing to the motorcycle community. And like I said, I like to pick people to talk to that bring something unique from themselves. And man, the way how passionate you are about videography and photography, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And then you're sharing this van build. This van build that, man, I was like, oh my crap. Oh, he's building a van. I want to build a van for over a year now. How's that going?
Well, my battery just died over here, but that kind of took a little bit of a pause because we had a couple plans to do it. Pretty much the goal that we started building it was because there's Renegade Riot in, I think it's the Gold Panther Campground, British Columbia this year. Essentially, it's the Eastern Canada up in just west of Calgary, Alberta. And I wanted to go for the last 2.5 years, where the first year was like, that looks cool, I'm gonna try to go, but not really. And then the second year was like, oh, I want to go. I went to Born Free, but then I couldn't get enough vacation time. And I was like, oh, let's go to Born Free, because I met a bunch of people last year. That was awesome. I'll go again. And then this year it's like, adios, Born Free. I need to think about you. And I was like, well, it'd be cool if I could just drive my van. I mean, obviously the goal for everyone's like, I just want to ride countless miles, bro. But that's a whole lot of distance. And if I can roll the bike in the van, I can crush 1,500 miles in a day, maybe even 2,000 just, and then I don't have to worry about game in the middle of the night, or if it starts raining, and I can go farther, even though it won't be as dope of an experience,
Quote, it's a dope of an experience. Yeah. It's like some people are like, if you trailer the bike, it doesn't count. It's like, whatever.
You're still getting it. Yeah, that's the end result. And that's why I really want to go. So that way I'm fresh over there. And the plan is to go up there and check out one spot and then go through there, stay in Calgary for a day and so forth, and then ride the bike everywhere else. So that way I have fresh body. I can enjoy it 100%, because I still have to go back. And that was the main reason why I started building it. Was I did the floor so it looks cool. And then I need to do a wheel chock that's going to have, I think it's L tracks. That way it's just kind of like airliner stuff. It's really neat. So when the bike's not in there, it still looks like a pretty good van. Do windows and everything. But it took a hold for a bit because my Mac, it's just so old and it's getting so slow when it comes to video editing, just extremely annoying, but it's still going strong. I still love it, but it's got some nuances. And I decided I balled out in this camera, might as well ball out a new computer. And I got a little carried away, but this should be an animal. It should just handle whatever.
Yeah, so many similarities, man. I started on a MacBook Pro, 2012 MacBook Pro, and I was editing everything. And once again, it's just like you. It started crapping out on me. It was slower than it should have been. So I built, just like you, built a computer. I got a computer right here. And then, yeah, dude, you have to. You absolutely have to.
Yeah.
You got to reinvest in it. But I'm super interested in that van, man, because I've been wanting one. Yours looks nice. I love the flooring.
That's
man.
the hardest part. Thanks, dude. Is trying to figure out which direction you want to go. That was probably, I want to say 2 months, but let's be realistic. It's probably like 5 months of just me countlessly watching YouTube videos and all these like, van life. And my thing is that I didn't want the longest because I live in the city and I wanted to be able to commute and at least back up in normal parking space instead of parking, let's say, at the very end and I get mugged on the way in. Yeah. And that way it's just easier. Because I used to drive an old body style Ford. I mean, this was maybe not even that long, but it was a long 8-foot bed. It was double cab or whatever it is. And it was just a pain in the nuts to just back that thing up, move, parking. It's like, I don't want that. I mean, it looked cool, but practicality, and that's why I went the medium roof. I could have just gone high roof because a lot of the places I thought I wouldn't fit in, I still don't even fit in with the medium roof. I mean, I can still go drive-throughs, which is important. I get my coffee, good to go. But that was the hardest part, was learning to figure out what outfitment or whatever I can put in the van and still make it motorcycle oriented. If it was camper van, it would be easy just because you just need a couch, you need this. But with the vans, everything is modular. There's some amazing builds out there, and trying to adapt them to how I would see it for the motorcycles was the key component.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing I'm running into is I'm looking for something motorcycle specific. It's always like mountain biking. There's always these mountain biking vans, and then
or dirt bikes.
Or dirt bikes, and they're a lot smaller. There's a huge difference when it comes to your Harley and then my Indian. The biggest thing that I'm having trouble with is that it's also got to kind of be a family van. I mean, I got 2 kids, so I got to have a back seat. But then I'm also thinking, well, if I pick up their friends, I want a third row. But then how do I do the third row with a motorcycle, enough room, all this other stuff, and it's just
throw on the bike with a seatbelt.
Yeah, that will work. It definitely should. It better work. But
the pricing is so expensive. Yeah, like everything in the van world, dude.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm finding out. I might just get a truck. I might just do a truck and then just call it a day on that, and get a trailer if I feel like it. But dude, that's really cool. I'm so glad that you're doing the van thing. I think that's really unique. Are you planning on doing because you're saying traveling? So do you want to do you want to photograph or record? I guess what's the technical term for photography? Is it record or take pictures? I don't want to say take pictures.
Yeah, either one. You can say take snap photos. It's all the same. If you think about it. Record with your film, or record with your crop sensor. But that's the ultimate goal is, I think it would be so amazing. There's so many people that do it already, is to be able to ride for a living, kind of go to these events and just record the experiences that other people may not be able to go. Yeah. I remember there was this company that reached out to me. There was an event that was going on in Florida, the first one they were ever doing. They're like, hey, can you share this for us? We'd love if you could make it out for us. And it's like, money was really tight. I didn't have the schedule. I was like, if I go, it would be for a plane ticket and it's say $600. Like, that's just way too much. But if you can pay for at least the ticket out, I'll stay there and whatever and do all that, find out on my own. And they were kind of like, well, we can't really do that because of budgeting. I was like, I understand that, but it was worth a shot. And where that would be amazing if that was it. I would take the van, drive everywhere, do all this, and if I could get paid for that, I think that'd be amazing. There's been a couple opportunities where I had opportunity again. I hate double wording, but where a company reached out and said, "Hey, we'd love to bring you on," but I just signed a lease for my apartment, and I wasn't able to. Where it's like, one of the stipulations would be if you could cover me breaking my lease, and then everything else should be easy. Like, well, we can't do that, and then the pay wasn't conducive to where I'm at now. And it's like, okay, it's just not going to work out. I'd love to do it, but I kind of feel like I'd be going backwards and just run everywhere just to make ends meet. And then I wouldn't want to do that to the company or myself, because I felt like it would just want to be a positive experience for both.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have to find
the right time. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to find what works for you. And I think a lot of people, when they see YouTube videos, it's like a lot of work goes into it and a lot of money. Like, especially when you first start, you have to spend a ton. You just bought this nice camera, you got this badass computer just so you can make free content for others. So the best, I mean, right now the best way definitely is to get somebody that will actually pay for you to go to these places and document it. But I see where you're coming from, because at the end of the day, you want to share these experiences just based off what you said about the gender reveal and the wedding. So you're not doing it for the money. So I think that's great. That's awesome. It just has to work for you.
If I could make it a living, and be able to do this as a reward, I think that'd be amazing. But it's cool because, let's say this weekend, I got last minute notice of Memphis Shades needing help with the show. It's a city 2 hours away up here in Dallas. And I was like, I'm off those days. Let's do it. Where my days off, where I could be spending time recording and doing something. It's like, I mean, they've been a solid company. There's certain companies in the motorcycle industry where, I mean, they're just great customer service and they have amazing product. And I'd love to support those type of companies to where they're not paying for it. And it's like, cool, I'm more than happy to help because you're in a bind or whatever, you need someone to help. I'm up, let's do it. And it's going to be rewarding enough, just kind of where you're laying down your stones and putting a good foot forward to where eventually it's going to come back tenfold. I think it's just, you get what you put out into the universe. And this is one of those moments where 2020 starting off, this is good vibes already out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, dude. 2020's been crazy. 2020 has been pretty good, at least for me.
It feels like July. It's so long already.
Yeah, but you got your plans, man. You have plans in your head. You got. I know how it feels developing the business and everything. I got a business now for the DanDanTheFireman channel and all that stuff.
I saw that. I saw the end. It was like LLC. I was like,
You have to. You absolutely have to.
Yeah, exactly.
So
100%.
I saw that and I was like, and when you're talking about sole proprietorship versus this and this, I'm like, I went through the same process.
Especially nowadays, dude.
Yeah.
You
gotta be careful.
Everything.
You gotta be careful. You really do.
I'm just gonna introduce myself as that. Hey, I'm Connor LLC. That way they just, even if I'm not, they're like, oh, dude. He's covered. He's covered.
He's covered. Yeah, man. Because the last thing I want is somebody to try something that I'm doing and then find a lawyer that will sue me. And now it takes money from it takes money from my family. That's my biggest worry. And to go back to where you were talking about, the sponsorships and me breaking the lease and all that stuff, you do have to take care of yourself. You really do.
Yeah. And
I'm trying to find different ways to take care of myself so that it takes care of my family. So I do have to do this for money. This is my job. I absolutely enjoy loving it, and background of firefighting to serve others. This is how I'm doing it. So.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was because you started doing that. Was it the MSF course?
Yeah. Yeah. So
and that's why I thought you incorporated LLC. It was like, oh, that makes sense because you're an instructor, and then if they can't do it through the MSF, they'll go for the instructor themselves. But now that you said that, that's 100% true. Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So I think I started it 6 months before I became an MSF rider coach. But dude, I got a business account, so I mean that's all they can go for,
Yeah, but that's what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're having a business. I mean, shoot. I mean, if somebody doesn't like your photos, so, they can...
Dude, there was actually something about that. That's what got me started thinking about LLC, was I was listening to this amazing podcast, and I'm not even a fan of podcasts. There's certain ones I'll listen to, and that's maybe an episode. I listened to this dude back to back when I was going to Colorado, episode, and then he was with this lady, and it was just... that when you can, if it's viable, do LLC, because there was this time with this wedding photographer, they hired this guy, they saw all his books, he took their photos. When they got it, that wife was just extremely irate and just upset that this wasn't what she had envisioned. And they took him to court. They tried to sue him for so much money, which is, I think it was 5 times his rate or what he charged them. Thankfully, the judge said, nah, fam, this is, unfounded, no grounds. But I was like, oh, bro, this is what I'm into now.
It's adulting, man. You're an adult now with me.
I hate it. Over it.
You kind of mentioned your age a little bit by saying when you're on MySpace. I mean, I don't think a lot of people that watch a lot of this stuff knows what MySpace is. I know.
My glory days, dude. Hair like this.
Changing up the background, hyperlinking everything, having music, your favorite song.
Dude.
See, I know.
I miss that.
You can't do that now. You can't do that nowadays. Oh man, that's insane, dude. That's a lot of fun. Any plans for I mean, you're super excited about 2020. So what's something that you're like, we're doing this, and this is what I'm doing? Because you said you have a 1-3 Renegade ride. Boom.
All right. That's
what's that?
100%. It's I started. there's a lot of support coming from Canada. Death Defied, what's up, baby? But a lot of the riders out there, they follow the channel since the beginning. There's this fella, Troy, who had his dyna after I got my street bob. I came across the page on Instagram, and that became the style I was trying to emulate, which was club style. And initially I was going to do ape hangers and advanced high short shots, and I kind of went, whoop, quick 180. Yeah. And that was what I was trying to get at. And then there was this other buddy, Will, who we started talking. He used to be from Texas. He served the Marines, thankful for his service and all for his veterans. And that little by little, it started just growing. And there's tons of support in Canada for some reason. There's a couple in Toronto, but most of them are just in Alberta. And then a couple more people started producing content up there. There's Little Gypsy, Johanna, or however you pronounce her name, and then Culture Status. And they just put out so much content. Like, well, that's dope. And then they started this Renegade Riot. I think it was 3 years ago. I think this will be the third year. The first year, I think it was 50 people. I don't even know these numbers are accurate. This is just what I saw on Instagram. I think it was 50 people. It was still a big event, you know, for them just first year doing it. And it just looked like a blast. And then a couple of buddies and I were talking about going the second year, and they grew, I mean, tenfold. And so this year, the tickets sell so fast. They put them, I think it's December or January, they'll put them for pre-sale, and they usually sell out by January. And it's 6 months in advance, which is insane. And it's just so welcoming. Like, all types are welcome. And then they usually close the gate. So where you're there for the two days, it's usually just a weekend, because there's alcohol that's served, and they're just a close-knit family. And it's just, it looks like a fun time, dude.
That's cool, man. That's cool, though. I don't know too much about those types of things. Like, typically all I do is like one charity ride a year. My wife went to a Babes Ride Out. So that's the only thing I can equate to what you're trying to say. So is it like just a big social, and that's pretty much what it is? I mean, sometimes you guys can, like, I guess, leave to go ride, but I mean, it's mainly just the social event that bikes bring you guys all together. Is that what that is all about?
Yeah, and then they have events there. I like to call it what Sturgis started off as, where it's kind of people come together, and I don't want to put them that much, like, you know, in a nutshell, but that's kind of what I think of when I see it. And because it's just a lot of people who enjoy riding motorcycles, they enjoy each other's company, and then they have games. They have, like, get the hot dog off the string while you're riding. They have you push a keg with your bike, and it just looks like so much fun. You're camping and enjoying the wilderness with like-minded people. And because there's certain events where you go out there and they're meant to bring people together, but you get there and everyone has their own cliques where, I mean, it's just, you show up and you're trying to be friendly. They're like, hey, come out to this event. And you show up and they're just like, oh, what's up? And they just kind of go back. What's the whole point of doing that? And this is the exact opposite of what I've started to notice. And I think there's been a shift where one of my buddies in New York, Brooklyn, that he had said that he noticed in IMS this year that there was a shift towards newer riders, which I thought was amazing. That previous years, it was kind of like people in the industry or who are real close to the industry that just buy, cool. But a lot, you have to think about it. It's the weekend warrior, if you have to put them in a cast or whatever, a label, that those are people who really stimulate this industry because they're the ones buying everything and they're just the ones investing. That's cool. I want to invest this in my bike. I love it because a lot of times they work a lot. They just have all that money to spend where you have to be welcoming to everyone. Even if you don't like them, cool, you don't like their style. Like, that's the one thing that's so funny is that you post a picture of your bike. Say you put, I don't know, T-bars and an FXR T-fairing on your Indian. I remember I mocked up something on Instagram, and people got so mad. They were like, no, it's not how you do it. I would do it like this. And it's not your bike, dude.
It's your bike. Yeah, it's your personality. I think
they get so worked up about that.
Yeah, there's some diehards when it comes to the stuff, and I've had people say, "Why did you buy this bike, my Indian FTR?" It's like, it's not really an Indian. Thing, dude. I love it. To me, it's an Indian. It's an Indian.
I want it.
No, you can't. Not mine. You should buy one yourself, though, man. They're a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. I was like, you can't have mine. You definitely can't have mine. I like your bike, though. I like it a lot. When I was watching that Iron Butt Challenge, or is it, no, there's 1,000 mile.
Same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. All right. Yeah, because I remember I just talked to somebody and they're like, we were trying to figure it out, and I guess it's like a saddle sore or
saddle sore. Yeah, there's 100.
It's whatever. It's an Iron Butt. I was wondering, like, how comfortable. Yeah, you started at 2. Was it 2 a.m. you started?
Yeah, because that's the other thing is, I wanted as much sunrise, or not sun on me.
Yeah.
Because we went to Fort Worth the previous time, I left at 4, and dude, Texas is hot regardless, but when you get like North Texas, it's just fields and just that weird wavy like landscape where you know it's hot. You see dust, bunny, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And it's just miserable, just hot air on a hot body. Just, this is miserable. And so I was like, no, not this time. But I don't want to start too early where it was kind of the one thing that we always learned growing up was if you're out at a party, even though we had a curfew, you know, if you find yourself at 2 a.m., wait till 2:30. That way, most people leaving a bar, they have that. So I kind of wanted to that same window. It's just been teachings that I've had since I was growing up. Is always be wary, stay vigilant on the road, and especially leaving that early in the morning. But that's also early enough to where all the critters have gone to bed. Usually they stop crittering around. Yeah. So it was kind of like strategical. But
why'd you choose Phoenix? Why'd you go that way instead of like north or east or any of that stuff?
Well, because it was for Born Free, and so it was it was happened to be directly from Austin. Was 1,000 miles, just perfect.
Nice.
Let's do it. And then the next day was a short ride. Well, in time wise, it felt like super hot. But it was cool because that morning we were coming through, here in Austin, you have cityscape, and then the farther you get out west, it's like even an hour outside the city is just country. It's just like country living, baby. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because it's 3 a.m. when we're coming to this gas station, we're meeting everyone else, and it was a full moon, and you see the road, there's no cars out, and you could just see the weeds and the trees just clear. I mean, you saw dark skies, but then everything was lit up, and it was just so beautiful. Just like, bro, where am I? Like, what?
Dude, you like find like the weirdest, like not weirdest, but like the most unique take on scenery. Like you literally are thinking through, you're looking through like a camera basically this whole time. I love that, dude. That's awesome.
That's what I like about riding is that because I remember we were going through Galveston. It's not a great drive. You're going through I-10. It's just potholes everywhere. Just semis trying to kill you, and it's just boring. You're trying to blast it. You're just trying to get there as quick as possible. I'd done it in cars previously, and then you get to the beach, and then you start smelling the salt air. But with the motorcycle, you feel it. You hear the seagulls cawing. It's just like super cinematic. I think that's how I always think, but it's completely different. I mean, the memories that you make on a bike, it's so much more involved and immersive because you feel the air. I mean, it's extremely hot when we were coming from Phoenix to California. You felt the heat off the asphalt, and it was just, oh, dude. I mean, you felt like you were like a piece of bacon, just little lines coming up, and it was just miserable. But it was just like, but it's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
I love riding 100%. Yeah.
You're a part of the experience. You're not just watching it from your car.
Yeah, the windshield, just like, and then you also have more distractions in the car, which I try not to. I mean, everyone's guilty, but boring drive, only change the music real quick, and then you're just like, oh, hey.
Yeah, I take naps when I'm driving, so.
Tesla, baby.
That's right. Dude, if they come out with a Tesla van, do you think you'll get something like that? Because, man, I think Amazon's coming out with one.
That's a tough question. I joked around with it saying I would, and it's a cool concept, but I kind of find myself torn because they say it's a smaller footprint, sure, but then to harvest all the materials, it's a pretty big footprint, dude. Yeah, and then that massive, it's like, and it's convenient, but then also the distance, I'm not too sure, and the convenience of having, you can get gas wherever, and I can carry a thing of gas with me, but I wonder if it would void your warranty 100%, and you're paying like $100,000 for a car, so you probably wouldn't want to do it. But you could do solar panels and then just continuously recharge. You have to do some fitment, but then you can just drive to the ends of the earth until something breaks, and then you take a Tesla. And they're like, oh, well, you mess with it, so we can't really mess with you, sir.
So you're already thinking all these loopholes on it, man.
Hack the system, dude.
I think I dropped my mic. Let's see.
You're good. Yeah, because when I was building the van, I was doing that solar panels. I was like, you could do this with a Tesla probably, and
I don't know. What about because we're thinking like long distance. I mean, obviously they're not going to work very well. But what about a bike that is just battery operated? Would you get one? No.
Oh, I say no, but I want that the EXC EXCF, the KTM version.
Okay.
That's just so dope, and that's just battery operated.
I was thinking like something like a dirt bike.
American.
You're an American. I love that. But I was thinking like a dirt bike that was just a battery operated. Cause, it's just all torque. And if I'm gonna go riding anywhere, it's gonna be within like 100 miles of my house. So I'm just gonna go ride, come back, charge it up, and then boom, I'm done. But yeah,
do you still do? You can go ahead. I'll remember my question.
No, I think I know where you're going with that one. But
what?
Go ahead. Saturday Scramblers. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
If you still do videos like that. I remember when I first came across your video, I was like, what is this dude doing? Click. I was like, oh, that's pretty dope.
He's taking his stupid Harley off road.
Oh, dude, I don't know why I just remembered that. But when you start talking about that going at like 100 miles from your house, I was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah, dude, I want to get back into it. I really want to get back into it. And that brought out my photography mind. Like, because I had a third shot. I had my second one on the handlebars on my face. So I'm trying to figure out, what angle this is going to look like when I'm on the ridge. So that really brought out. And then I added music. I was doing music with that. So that brought out that I really like. So, I mean, I understand when you're riding and you're like looking at all the scenery, you're like, oh man, maybe like at 100 elevation, this is how it's going to look. But then maybe from this angle, it's going to look this way. I get that mindset that you have. I mean, maybe not with all the skill you have, but I understand that creative process.
It's just practice, man. It's just, you just do it over and over. And like, then it just becomes secondhand. I just wish more people appreciated it, where it's just like, dude, but I can't knock it because it's the society. Like there was this video, I used to be so mad at this dude. I don't even know what his channel is, but a lot of his thumbnails have super big eyes, and all he does is just waffles a bunch of stuff. Where it's like, will it waffle? And he's like, let's do 100 gummy worms, and then he freezes it and tries to eat it. He's like, no, 40 million views, and it's like, oh, bro, what? And it's like, oh, well, I mean, he's figured out like the system and how to play it. 100%, you the man, bro.
Dude, imagine if you did something like that, but on the side, never show your face, and that was what made you money, and then now you go off and go travel.
That's true, yeah.
So
yeah. Ain't no shame, dude.
That's that creative thing I'm thinking right now. Maybe I want to do a Will It waffle or Will It panini or something.
There you go, just something. Will It cereal, and you're over here doing, I don't know, whatever it is. But it's like, I tried an iPhone thing. I got the new iPhone 10 back when it first came out. I was there, got it, and I was like, cool, dope, and I was like doing a review, the worst review of my life. And again, that was the first technical review I did, where motorcycles, I just talk about what it is. I didn't try to be something I wasn't, or with something I wasn't familiar with. And it was terrible. And I was like, that was my thinking, like, oh, this is going to go viral, and this is going to be that one video, etc. And I think before I made it private or unlisted, I think I had like 200 views, and that was like after a year, like and it had like 100 thumbs down. Dude, I appreciate y'all being honest, but I tried, and it's just like, it's like, no.
Well, were you trying to be all technical? Is that one of the things?
That's the thing, and that's where I learned from this. Like for this, I mean, that's not me. If that was, if I was passionate about that, it would come out. It would be natural instead of me just saying, this is an iPhone 10 with 250. Just like everyone can read that if they want. Talk about. Like I think when I switched to the Android Note 10, which I don't have anymore because I just couldn't do Android, I talked about it in comparison with the iPhone and how you can use it. And I used it for the photography, videography, the difference in the lenses, what you could do. And that one did fairly well. I mean, it's not blown up, but it was a lot more natural. And I was more proud of that than me trying to. I mean, again, you should try new things, because who knows? It could have been amazing. It could have been like a new iPhone, like iJustine or whoever that Marquise, or I can't remember.
Marquise Brownlee. I like that guy.
Yeah.
He does really good. He's very technical.
Some great, exactly. And he's good at it. It just comes naturally. It's just, maybe he's just been practicing doing it for so long.
And also, he's talking from a point of view of this is what I would use it for. And this is what I'm using it with. Like I did this, and this. And then he does mention some of the specs, but he kind of just glosses over them because he does understand that you can read that.
Exactly. Yeah. But, Google. Boom.
Yeah. I like it because he literally will say what he's using it for, and what, if you're going to buy this, I mean, you want to use it for this, it's not going to be the best thing. Yeah. So that's the authenticity. And from what you're saying, dude, I think like, if you could just share experiences that you have with this equipment, and you do your fun, like motorcycle riding, all these cool things, and be like shot with, or this was easy to use with this. Yeah. I think that would be good. I think there should be a mixture of both, like you want.
Yeah.
I think you could.
Yeah, because I thought about that with when I was going to do this other channel initially. This was like another channel before I actually made this channel. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was going to include firearms, because that's just a big part of my life. I love firearms. I love training with them and helping spread education about it. Like, if this is going to happen, you should be aware, know how to use it, and et cetera, just in different situations. And then I was like, I'll also include this new series where it was going to be called Wander with Connor, which I was thinking about adapting to the current Connor channel. And a lot of people don't really ride a lot of these roads, or they'll be like, hey, Connor, in this group, do you know any good routes for this? Me and my wife, or me and friends are thinking about going here. And I'll just be like, cool, Google map it. This is it. You can add this route. You can add this. Kind of like a guide for the Central Texas. And I want to do that with the channel, kind of like, maybe every other week, like, hey, this is Water with Connor series. We're exploring Lion Creek Road, which is a really popular one here in Austin because there's so many twisties. And just, this is how it is. I turn my head a lot. And so that's the roughest part.
Oh, are you talking about right now? I was like,
with my GoPro, I'll be like this. And when it comes to the video, and if I fast forward, because no one wants to sit there for 20 minutes, just like, oh, that's a road I'm never going to ride. If I had an exhaust, that might be different. But it's just, I do this. So if I'm fast forwarding, it just looks like this. And it's just like, you're getting nauseous quick. Yeah. So I need to figure out like maybe like a shoulder mount or just like a top mount, something. And that way that I can transfer a lot better.
Yeah.
That was where some guy from California, he was one of the videos I used to watch a lot before I started my channel. And I wish I remember his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. But he would do rides in, what do they call it? Hell's Kitchen, like in California, there's some back roads and stuff. And he just did a chin mount, and he wouldn't talk at all. And he had his microphone down his shirt in the back by the exhaust. Yeah. And just ride like he rode. And just, it was just like, damn, if I can't ride it, then just watch this video real quick. And it's just like, oh,
yeah. I've watched a few of people have done that. I think there's a European guy that does that. And it's just like, it just says like just audio on the thumbnail. And there's been times where I'll just watch it and it's just, you hear the exhaust. So having good audio with that is, dude, you can, there's so much stuff. I'm thinking like out right now about all the things you're saying. And you got the manliest of the manliest shit, dude. You got guns, you got motorcycles, you got exploring the wilderness. And then you have the passion for the cameras and
the beard.
Documenting. You need to get a beard, man. That's the thing.
Let me borrow it. I can't grow one.
No?
No.
Oh, that's a shame, man. That's a shame.
My brothers, though, I think it skipped a generation. Because my older brother, even my half brother, he's got a huge beard. And then my younger brother, it's like,
you did have
I got the mustache.
You did have like handlebars. I saw him getting trimmed, man. Was that?
Oh, dude.
I saw that.
Now that I see photos and videos, I'm like, did it really look like that? It looked so dumb. But so many people like that. I'd be walking around like, hey, dude, mustache. It was always dudes, which I didn't mind. But I wish like a girl would be like, hey, nice mustache. Like, oh, hey, what's this?
Girls don't like it. Girls don't like it.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you grow that back, you don't even need a beard. Just grow that back. Do the guns, do the motorcycling, do the adventures, and then record it, and then tell people.
The hat.
Dude, have everything. Have a full get up. Be known for that. Honestly, now we're adding more. Now we're just adding more.
Damn.
Should totally do it, dude. I think you should document all that stuff. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm shaving my mustache Tuesday after the expo. I figured I was going to do, just a break. I only shaved it once last year. And then other than that, it was 99% of 2019 was my mustache. I don't even like it really. I mean, now I've grown to like it.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of started being associated like, hey, that's Connor. People would identify like, oh, mustache. I only knew because it was you because of the mustache. Okay, well, I'll leave it for a while. And then it went all year. And then my birthday is middle of the month next month. And so I figured I'll shave it Tuesday. Then I go back to work Wednesday, and then that way it's just about half a month that I'll have no mustache. Everyone's like, "What?" at work.
Dude, you need to like change it up because I was starting to be noticed for that too, and I don't want to be like a Dr. Phil where I can never shave it. So I grew a beard, and I'm probably gonna shave it soon, and then I'm gonna regrow it, so it's gonna be changing it up. But
yeah, well, it's like that dude Brady Till Death for Go Fast Don't Die. He shaved his beard. I was just like, what? That looks weird. Because I mean, he's got a glorious beard, but his mustache is just majestic. It's like, okay, cool. That's Brady. And then he shaved it. I was just like, oh, that's a good look. You look good with change, but it's just
you're a dude. You're just a normal dude now.
Exactly.
You were majestic, like a unicorn before, but not anymore. That's my.
It's like if Jason Momoa shaved his head, like because he's had long hair for so long.
Oh yeah, I saw him when he shaved his beard and he looked different, but not too bad. I mean, he's got those eyebrows, so that's always gonna be there.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
You ever plan on going to like Hawaii and riding around we were talking about Jason Momoa, so Hawaii, but like any of that cool stuff? Because you go to Canada, like you want to go to Canada, but what about Hawaii with all the landscapes and plenty of opportunities for photography?
It'd be cool. I hear it's small. Like, I mean, if you have a bike, you only do so much. Like when we went to St. Lucia, I didn't ride my bike, but we went out there. I rented a van and the airport was at the south of the island. And then our spot, our little Airbnb was at the north end of that, like the very north off the cliff, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's a long drive on the map. And so we get there, I Google map it, and I think it was like 3 hours. Like what?
Oh,
what? 3
that's
hours
not
so
much.
from the south. And but then you're driving, and it's just so beautiful. But it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's how I imagine Hawaii. Again, with the whole kind of like circling back, if I could travel and do this as living with the motorcycle, with especially, I wanted it with my Dyna, but I kind of betrayed it and just said, adios, traded it for the Softail, but one of the Softail just an amazing ride.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take it to France. Like, I want to take it, not to say just France, but Europe, but France is definitely one of the places I want to ride. To Italy, to like all the Alps. I mean, just like all over Asia, really. But just if I could do that, just
are you? I was gonna say, are you picking that because of the ride or because the camera stuff?
Pretty much everything. Like I can find pretty much something to photograph wherever I'm at. Like even though like recently back home, I went back to visit South Texas, which everyone from South Texas knows is the Valley. And for the people from Corpus who think that's part of the Valley, it's not. Just I like to put that PSA out there. It's Kingsville below, where it's we have like a ranch. It used to be an ostrich farm, and then we converted it to just a regular ranch style house. We got rid of all the fencing, and we have someone that comes and cuts the grass, and they take the hay bales. That's kind of like the agreement that we have. And they left the tractor there last time I was visiting, and I just kind of started exploring with night photography and light painting. And I saw it, and I was like, wow. I mean, I've always enjoyed being out there because it's just the sunsets are amazing. Sunsets are my go-to. I love them over sunrises, but sunrises can be nice. But it's just the sun was hitting it cool. So like, okay, cool, take some photos. And then I had my light, which just happened to die. And I was like, cool, let me start painting it. And then I did the tractor. I had the tractor that we had. It was an International Harvest, and then we had a hay bale and a million mosquitoes. And then I ended up overlaying a starry sky behind it, and it's just so amazing. It's just I was showing my parents like, hey, Dad, look at this. Look what I did with your tractor. And he goes, that's not here. It is. It's like literally right outside. You can go look. Yeah. And it's just stuff like that where it's rediscovering familiar places because nothing's ever going to be the same. Like I tell people whenever we go on rides it's like, oh, you're going on this ride again. And a lot of people, some people don't like it. It's like, oh, whatever, bro, it's too deep. But it's how everything's changing. It's just so amazing that you can do one road in the summer. Cool. You're hitting it. But then you go in the fall, the trees are changing. There's a breeze. Yeah. And it's just, dude, how can you not like to ride? That's why I tell people, if you're new to riding, that's why I started this Facebook group where, you know, if you're in this general 200-mile area of Central Texas, add in it because we're always riding. I think like on certain Sundays, it can go anywhere from 50 miles to 300. And it's just, you know, come out, learn to ride, and we'll do big rides. And then some people are like, oh, I've never ridden with a big group. You come on up. And then we do the pre-meet ride. It's like, hey, if you've never ridden with a group, I'm going to be in the back. Feel free to come. And for those who like to ride faster, go in the front. You know the routes, etc. This is our meetup spot. If you get lost, just ride your ride. And then at the end of like, oh, bro, that's so amazing. I've never ridden with a group. I thought I was going to be super nervous. Like, you don't have to be nervous. And pretty much being there for others when other people are kind of like, you have to be so good to ride with us. Like, dude, bring them out. You know, incorporate them into the group. Let them be a part of the experience. And it's just, that's why I really like this. And then just telling them like, oh, we're gonna go ride this road again. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to. It's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna still ride it. I don't care.
Yeah. So you're always 100. Trying to invite new people. You're trying to get people.
Always. I would say all bikes welcome, and then all riders. Because some people show up on grounds and so forth, and it's like, okay, well, there's certain rides where it's like, if you show up on a ground, it's like, hey, you're more than welcome to come. But you know, if I happen to get excited, I may leave you for a little bit. Yeah. But I'm gonna slow down if I don't find you, and then you can find me along this road. And I'll tell them kind of like little maps. And for certain rides, I think we were doing the Sisters one time where we were doing a lot. And then some people might run out of gas. I printed out these little strips and said, hey, here's my number. And then Instagram, in case they, for some reason, didn't have it, they found it through a friend. Just call me and text me. So that way, if I don't see you at this point, you know, I can at least hit you up. Or you can hit me up, say, hey, where'd y'all go? This is where we're at. I always feel like it's my responsibility to be that productive or not productive, that positive impact on that person's first ride, especially if it's a ride like that, to where, hey, you know, I like this road a lot. I may get excited and then I may leave you for a little bit. But then if it's a really technical road or we're in the middle of nowhere, it's, hey, this is where you can find me. This is my number. Or if anything happens, you know, one of your buddies goes off the road.
Yeah. Like, okay. Did you take that from like when you started learning how to ride? You said your buddy would take you and he took you from one on ramp to the next off ramp. Yeah. Did he do that?
No, he kind of just said he followed behind me. So that way it was at my own pace. But I got that from one of the drag specialties dealer rides that I had the opportunity to go with Memphis Shades, where I was just like a kid in a candy store, and we were going all over. We went to like DanDanTheFireman, and I mean, there were so many routes that you could go. I think it was like 3, but they were all in the middle of nowhere, like outside Las Vegas. So it was just a bunch of desert. And the person who had the, I guess, the follow truck was just like, hey, if you happen to run out, here's my number. And they have a piece of strip paper and they give you a card, and it had major points of contact. That way you could do the person that was, I think, the HR person for the company, and then the actual follow truck. And then that really stuck with me, where it's a good kind of a, tool to fall back on, where it's like, with a lot of first responders, you fall back on your training whenever like high points of stress. And it's kind of like the same thing where I'll give you something, and a lot of people, when something happens, they reach for their phone. So I'll say, hey, put this with your phone, in the same pocket. And that way it comes out. It's like, oh, I had this number. That's right. And then it may bring down the stress a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what was a really good thing. Yeah. Because when I start getting low on gas, I'm like, oh, even though I know I still have like 50 miles, I'm like, bro, I'm going to run out. I'm going to die.
But then it's having that safety net. So even if you don't have like a vehicle in the back trailing everybody, especially on one of these rides, hey, you know that if you have to, you can call somebody. That's really smart. I've never even thought of that. I've never been a part of a ride that did that. So yeah, you just taught. No, I'm just kidding. I'm learning a lot, dude. I'm learning a lot.
Now you know.
I know it's awesome. I'm gonna start incorporating that myself. And if anybody out there that's listening or watching this, that's not a bad idea. That's a really good idea. That's to keep people safe, and I think that's mentally safe too, because like you said, your heart's pounding, and you don't want your heart pounding if you're new to a group ride, and now you start making mistakes, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it's good, because we were coming back from Dallas one time, and we were coming back roads because 35 just sucks. That's like our main bread and butter here in Texas, and it's just always congested. And I think it was Saturday evening or Sunday evening, something where like there was a big, the Stock Show and Rodeo, that's what it was in Fort Worth. And we were coming back, so it's like 100 people were probably going to be coming down 35. I said, no. We're going back, we're riding, and it's cool because a lot of our group knows that some people are up ahead, and I ended up going down this road, and everyone's following me. And then this buddy on my road glide comes up. He's just like, dude, turn around. I was like, oh, I missed the exit. My bad. And I turn around, and a little bit down the road, I see one of our buddies on the side of the road. I was like, oh, shoot. And so I get there, and then I get down, like, hey, what's up, man? You good? And then his sprocket had just completely got eaten up. And it was just terrible. I was like, oh, dude, man, I would have just been like, oh, I would not have known anything till like I got back to San Antonio 2 hours away. Like, where is everybody? But it's good because it's kind of like the group, because I was all from that Sunday Rise group that we have, and we kind of have that I guess you could say brotherhood, camaraderie, where it's just we look out for each other. And on the rides, where there's been times where someone's bike has been down, it's like, oh, I'm exhausted. I have work early tomorrow, but their bike broke down. It took forever to bring it back. But I want someone to do that for me. So that's kind of, that's why I look out for them.
One of the things that I think about when it comes to helping others, and especially for somebody on the side of the road, is that if you have all the time in the world, it's no problem for you to stop for 20 minutes. But if you're rushing, a lot of people won't stop. So it really shows your character when you're like, this is going to be a detriment to me, but I know that this is going to be something even more massive for this person to get the help. So dude, that means that's awesome, man. I'm glad you think that way. I think there needs to be more of that in the motorcycle community, because
100%,
a lot of the people I see, like when you said there's cliques, there's cliques at these little events. It's like, you know what? If there's one of those types of people that will reach out, that's in that clique, we'll grab this other clique, and now all of a sudden it's just a big group. And I think there definitely needs to be more of that.
It's like one of those guys I became friends with in California. He ended up going to MMI in Arizona, and we became friends. And I felt really proud because he was he didn't know what he wanted to do, and then he fell in love with motorcycles. And we were kind of talking about the channel. He enjoyed it, and then he graduated, and then we were FaceTiming. I was like, dude, I'm really proud of you. That's awesome that you kind of found something and you're going to stick with it. And then he ended up finding a job I think it was job hunting in Texas. And so he was staying here in my apartment, and we were riding. And I think it was like the second ride we went on. We were going to the Blind Creek area out west, and his bike just would start shutting off, and it was doing it. And of course it was on the hilliest part possible with all these blind turns. I was like, oh, dude, this is so sketch. And I was just so worried because someone's going to crash. I was like, you know what? We had one of the guys at the street glide kind of run trail and just with his hazards, and we pushed up this hill, which is the most annoying thing ever. I was like, he couldn't have stopped at the top of the hill. And we pull on the side, and we were about 45 minutes from my apartment. And I was like, dude, I mean, you can get a tow truck, but I have my van if y'all are just trying to sit, and I'll just go and get it. I'll rip as fast as I can. And one of the guys said, hey, there's a gas station about 20 minutes up. What do y'all want? He took orders, and he went and got waters and stuff for everybody. And then I rode out, got my van, brought it up, and then we loaded it, and it was kind of like that whole, everyone was willing to help out. They're just like, bro, this is how it is in Texas? No, dude, we got you, son. And it was really cool because then his mom, he was hanging out, and then his mom was like, hey, you know, I want to talk to Connor or whatever. And she goes, hey, thank you so much for helping my son out. I was like, hey, of course. I mean, coming from Texas, I think that there's not quite as much of it, but from my upbringing, it's kind of like the whole Southern gentleman.
I was going to say,
yes, ma'am, no, sir. Yeah. And it's just that kind of mentality. It's, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I'm going to give you the most respect. And if for some reason something comes in my bubble where it offends me, and I'll be like, hey, this is offensive, don't do it, or I'll just walk away, you know. But if it's something that's going to put me in danger, dog, you best believe I'm going to defend me and mine, baby.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. And I think that came from your upbringing, man. I think the familial bond that you have, and then I mean, honestly, as a parent, that whole Sunday movie thing, it's just some people will think about that. It's just an event. It's whatever. It's the movies, but it's literally the bonding of we're side by side. We're watching something. We're enjoying something together, and it really does instill. Hey, family, people are very important, and I'm assuming that's where that's coming from. And that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. It reminds me when I was out, you know, in the desert with my friends, 16 and 17-year-old, and somebody gets stuck with their really beat up truck. I mean, all like 10 of us are trying to we're bouncing on the tail bed, we're digging out, we're trying to get things out and going, and then you enjoyed it. I mean, you enjoyed having to deal with somebody getting stuck. But yeah, dude, that brings memories when you're talking about that on the hill. That sucks though. It does suck to do some work, but man, it's the memories that you get from that.
Well, it's like with riding, where I think we rode one time. We had this event January 1st. It was a shop ride in Dallas, which is from Austin. I think at the time I was in San Antonio, so it's about 3 hours instead of 2. And it was supposed to be nice and sunny. And then I think 2 days before that night, a storm came in and just rained. And it stopped raining, but it was still like a slight mist. And then it was cold. It was like 40 degrees. And so we're just like, oh, we layered up as best as we could. No. And so we're just here on the highway, like bundling up, stopping like every hour, just warming up, just on the highway, just doing like a hundred, like, dude, we're over this. We're just getting through it. And it was miserable, but it was just so awesome just because that's a memory because it stood out. It's like you have
that story right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was miserable, but then thinking about it, it's like, yo, dog, I rode through that. And it's just, but nope.
Dude, I've got a few of those stories too, and those are the rides you remember. Those are definitely the rides you remember. Then you have a lot of fun with that. I mean, that's what you're gonna keep from 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That's what you're gonna have. That's awesome, dude. Man.
And that's why I like the industry. It's just so because I mean, you're gonna find people that you don't mesh with 100%. And there's been people that come on rides or have met me that are just like, no, this dude's just not my vibe. You know, they don't like me. Cool, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
I respect you for that. And I don't want you showing up if you're just going to hate me the whole time. You know, like you're kind of just not investing your time as best as you could for that day. You could go ride with other people that are more along your lines. And, but with the motorcycle industry, you meet so many people that you mesh with and you learn from each other and you create bonds. And it's just pretty much, it goes back to where I'm trying to think of how I say this, where you're a culmination of all the people that you've met, because from this conversation, I now carry a piece of you with me that's going to transfer. And I think that everyone benefits from everything because everything is always learning, or everyone's always learning. So I think that's what I really like about the motorcycle industry is the camaraderie. You know, maybe there's a moment where you were like, I don't like this guy, and they're nice to your friends. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll give him a chance. He's in the Olive Branch because he was nice to homeboy. And then, you know, and vice versa, it goes both ways. But it's just, there's so many experiences that come with it, good and bad. And there's a lot of trying times with your bike breaks down. You're not a mechanic. You're like, I'm gonna learn today, baby. And just and it works. You're like, okay, cool. You know. Yeah.
The whole every person you meet is an experience, and you learn from that. That's huge. That's what I do. That's why I want to talk to as many people as I possibly can. Different people. I mean, you're different than me in a bunch of ways, but then we're also same in these ways. And then I learn from the differences, and then I learn that I'm not the only weird one. And then because MySpace and all that stuff. But I'm learning from different people. I've talked to a ton of people in the past 2 weeks. And I'm really learning even more that there's just so much more out there. I thought I was within my own little bubble, and reaching out.
It's crazy.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I think it's so awesome because it's culture. I mean, everyone comes from different backgrounds. Even though we're in the same nation, the same country, everyone's had different upbringings. I mean, people from South Texas are completely different than people from here from Central Texas.
Yeah.
It's like,
shoot, even me right here, my kids are going to have a different upbringing than our next door neighbor, and they're going to have two totally different experiences, and they can learn from each other. And just like I can learn from you, I can learn from anybody. As long as I have that learning mind, I think that's the biggest thing. Because you're talking about how somebody will show up and they're just like, oh, you know, not meshing very well, and it's a lot because of them, and it maybe a little bit of you, but at the end of the day, if you try, if you're just trying, you'll learn. I
always like to think like, oh, I'm real open-minded, but there's some times where some people just, after one experience with them, like, I just have this bad taste in my mouth. And they'll say something, back of my head, I'm just like annoyed, like, why are you even saying that? But then it's like, oh, I catch myself like, dude, that's not very a good neighbor of you. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, okay, cool. And then if they don't interest me, or I don't have a question that I want to ask them, that's kind of whatever the word is to keep the conversation going or add to it, contribute. Like, okay, cool. You know, I'm done for audio. Thank you. And, you know, cordially leave.
Yeah. And
that's what I like about Instagram and YouTube is that I feel like I have 100 friends everywhere where, I mean, you share memes with each other, that people comment, and then you slowly start, form bonds, whatever. And I found like 100 future wives that I'm going to propose to at some point whenever I come across them.
I know what you mean by the friend part. I can't say anything about future wives because I got mine. So
yeah, you got it.
But I understand the friend thing. You'll start seeing the same.
Did you hear that,
honey? Don't get me in trouble, man. Don't get me in trouble. The whole friend thing, though, I get that. I really do. Yeah. You'll see the same person commenting and then they have the same personality as to what you're doing, and then all of a sudden they show up to one of your things, and then you're like, oh man, it's so nice to see you. And it's not like a one-way thing where it's like, oh, are you Connor? It's like, hey, Connor, what's up? You're like, oh, dude, what's up? And then you actually enjoy it. So,
well, it's like my first Iron Butt challenge. I was going to go. I had a couple buddies in New Mexico I met, and we were going to Vegas at one time when I was with Memphis Shades. James was the homie who was like, hey, you want to come with? I was like, dude, much love, dog. James Campbell, you're the man. But that's we were riding out there. I mean, the second I was doing my Iron Butt challenge, going up there, I posted it and I was like, hey, cool. You know, mostly just those guys will know that I was going to be up there at a certain time. And a couple people were like, hey, I'm actually in this town. I'll be down to meet up on your way up. I was like, cool. And then we kind of set some things up. But so I'm riding. I met this first guy like outside San Antonio. We meet up at 5 a.m. We're riding. And then outside Snyder, we meet this other guy. And I forgot to text this other guy. And we met a little bit north in Lubbock. And he goes, hey, are you still coming? I'm like, oh, I forgot to text him. I was like, hey, yeah, we're actually here at the gas station. Feel free to roll through. And he was about an hour out. So he just blasted. I was like, dude, we'll wait for you. We're good because I messed up. And the coolest part about this trip was that we're riding. It's already 4 of us. We grew as a pack as we were riding. It's like the things in freaking movies, dude. I felt like the Wild West, just riding somewhere to save the damsel in distress. My homies are rolling up. And then we're coming by, this dude came from New Mexico, the spot we were going to go. He drove an hour into Texas, and I can't remember where it was. And so he's hanging out on the side of the road. I'm texting him like, hey, we're about to pull into the city. He goes, cool, I'm by this gas station. I'm on the side of the road. And so I see the gas station talked about, it had a McDonald's next to it. I don't see him. Okay, cool, whatever. I'm like, maybe there's another one. And then I see him on the side of the road on his bike, or I thought he was gonna be like just kind of waiting. He's on his bike, right? Helmet, his bike is running. I'm like, oh, I grab him, like, what's up? And then you see him in the mirror just get information. I was just like, bro, that was the coolest thing ever. Nothing's gonna beat it. It was just, oh, dude, I just felt like fanfare. I wish there was like 100 chicks on the side of the road, like, Connor.
Dude, I'm like imagining. I'm like slowly getting closer in my chair, like, what's going on? And then just like following you with your story. I love it, man. I love it. What about a story channel? Dude, make a story channel or something. Make a podcast and just tell a story, everyone. You got so many stories.
I think if I had a podcast, it would just be word vomit. I'd just be like,
that's what podcasts are.
You won't believe it. I don't know, man. That's true. Yeah, there's some where I just complete trash. It's just, I'm like, what? But, well, like this, the photography one I follow, I try not to skip it, but it is like advertisements because it's like, you know, everything is sponsored, where in the beginning it's like, or he'll cue in with like your books. Like, if you're ever doing taxes, we'll get this. And when I'm like, oh, here it is. It's like the next 20 seconds. So sometimes I'll skip through it. But it's like, no, you know, this dude saw it. I like his podcast. Let me just listen to it. And then it also helps where if I'm going to put on the podcast. And I got to go to the kitchen and start cooking something real quick. I'm like, I got 20 seconds. Hurry up. And then I'll come back and say, okay, go. But yeah, it's just, I don't know if I can do a podcast.
There's a storytelling, there's informative podcasts, there's all these different things. I'm seriously like sitting forward, like trying to like be into your story, like put myself into it. That's what I'm trying to say. I am into it, but
whatever, dude.
Yeah, I'm fumbling my words too.
Real into it, dude.
No, dude, I was like imagining like when you're doing the whole giddy up thing, and the dude rolls in behind you. It's like Tombstone, man. You have like
I wish someone could plug in something and it would just record to like a thing, because in my head, like with the music that's going, everything's so cinematic. It's just like, I mean, when something just resonates with me, like a moment or something, I get goosebumps all the time. Just like my eyes just dilate 100%. Luckily, I have a helmet so people can't see me. Like, oh,
dude, seriously,
I love it.
Do it, man. And then like when I'm thinking out loud, and it's like you're doing the whole riding thing. All of a sudden, you put some backup noise or background noise of like riding in the storm or something. Just like while you're telling the story, you know, maybe do some B-roll of just anything. And
that'd actually be pretty dope.
Dude, you could totally do that. And all you have to do is brain vomit. Yeah, and because I was following along, man. I'm following along. Anyways, that's just my little my thing that's popping up in my head. That's what I'm excited for. So, dude, I'm super excited. Excuse me, for all the stuff that you have coming up and what you have planned. I'm looking forward to that van. I'm looking forward to your business. I'm looking forward to hearing more stories. Where can people find you? Like your YouTube, Instagram. You said you had a Facebook group. At your apartment? Yeah. All right, put your address down. I'll put it in the description. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't go to the apartment. I'll be like, who are you?
If you guys, he knows his gun stuff.
25 to 30 and you're a female with blonde hair, maybe strawberry blonde. No, you can at ConnorFXDB, Instagram. Feel free to message me. That's what I think is also crazy is that with Instagram, especially this is gonna be a quick little rant, is that people message me. And I'll respond, you know, no matter what. I make it a point to respond because there's times where people have commented on videos or I've commented, didn't get an answer when I first started. And especially with Instagram, for some reason, like they see the numbers climb, they're just like, oh, bro, this dude's like a celebrity, whatever they call him. He's big or whatever. And it's like, dude, no, I mean, they're regular people. So people message me and I'll respond like, oh, I can't believe you responded. It's like, dude, of course I will, 100%. And so I would say like, you know, if you have any questions, regardless, whatever it is, shoot me a message. It may take me a while to answer, but I will always answer. So that's ConnorFXDB. And then the business is kr.digitalmedia. That should be dope. And then the YouTube for that one's just my name, Connor.
Okay.
But ConnorFXDB for YouTube. And if you have any questions, just holler.
Awesome. At me, dude. I'll put that all in the description on YouTube, and then I'll put it on right underneath you. So that way people can definitely check you out and see your stories. Yeah. So, dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. I learned a lot.
Yeah. No, thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity. I enjoyed this. I really did.
Awesome.
I enjoy your videos, and it was cool to finally get face to face. Well, one of the dudes over here, New Braunfels, I think he moved out there recently.
Okay.
I feel so bad for forgetting his name.
I remember his name. I remember that.
Yeah. He said he went out to one of your little getaways, your retreats, I think. And I met him at one of the shows thing, the events, and he was just like, oh, damn. You know, he started telling me about Discord when I first started my Patreon. And he was just, he told me a lot of good things. And I was like, cool, that's dope. You know, and I always like to kind of hear from other people kind of how excited they are about a creator, content creator, whatever you want to label yourself as long as I just don't like influencer. I feel like, oh, he's an influencer. Like, no, I'm not. Move on, bro. I just make videos.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, man.